My talk today is in a panel which title is Revolutionary Fatigue. And I'm going to show you that in France things happened a little bit differently. I'm not sure that fatigue is the right word for France since 1968. Even, of course, if I might agree with the fact that revolution is not on the political agenda now, there is still a strong spirit of contestation which regularly leads to protest movements, especially among the young. So to what extent does the emblematic movement continue to shape the political attitudes and behaviors of younger generations in France today? It's my topic. And as an example, I will show you the movement Nuit Debout, which took place during winter 2016 in France, in Paris, but also in all France, to show similarities between the two movements. And firstly, I would like to recall the importance of May 68 in French society. It was the first time that a student movement provoked a large social movement affecting and changing the entire society. And also, unlike other youth protest movements across the world, as we have seen, in France, it was also the specificity that the Mai 68 brought together both students and workers and led to a general strike, which paralyzed the country for several weeks. So as you can see on this poster, you have really a link between workers and students, a tool and a pen. And it's really the originality of May 68 in France. So what was May 68 in France? What was so specific? Obviously, it's a multifaced event, and there are really a great diversity, plurality of readings. Edgar Morin, the well-known French sociologist, wrote that May 68 was a revolution without a face because a revolution with 1,000 faces. And of course, all these faces, we can say it could be a mix made of revolutionary ideology, of need for social transformation, and of new aspirations specific to young people, all these mixed elements. It was a radical contestation of adulthood, authority against parents, teachers, politicians, bosses, and of course, a huge desire to make utopia possible, with a huge vitality expressed among the young generations, a powerful need to talk, to debate, and also to be heard, a demand for direct democracy, and we will see that this demand of direct democracy is really still at work in, for instance, the movement Nuit Debout, and of course, as a general context, a new political consciousness defined by concerns about third world issues, colonialism, freedom fights, Vietnam, South Africa, etc. So, was it political, a cultural, or a social movement? All of this, or something else? A revolution? Did it mean something or nothing? Controversies still continue in French political debate and social debate. And recently, Daniel Cohn-Bendit, one of the French most famous student leader at that time, declared at Le Soir, a Belgian newspaper, last January. It was a pure fantasy. Daniel Cohn-Bendit himself. Raymond Aron at that time talked about an unfindable revolution. Alain Renaud and Luc Ferry, in a famous book, La Pensée 68, emphasizes firstly individualized demands and aspirations within democratic society. In other words, no more than the reflection of the individualization process of modern society. Gilles Lipovetsky, also in a famous book, L'ère du vide, talked about the first indifferent revolution, because a revolution without any political framework. Okay, so it's on one side. On the other side, you have people who think contrary, that May 68 was a veritable passage towards a new society. Claude Lefort talked about spoke about, or told about, I don't know, radical political change. Edgar Morin, Cornelius Castoriadis talked about new social and cultural order in matter of feminism, new rules in the education system, new kinds of relationships within families, and more globally, a process of democratization of the entire society. So, in that sense, May 68 was for them, a veritable passage towards a new society. So today now, which memory, which legacy, what do French people remember of May 68? I can tell you that May 68 in France remains a well-known period of French history, even if it's declining among younger generations. Today, a recent survey this month found that 93% of French people say they have heard of it, and 71% of the young people. So May 68 continues to have a strong symbolic and cultural impact, and 79% attribute positive consequences for society to May 68. Only a minority of French people now make critical statements about it. And the majority of the French consider that May 68 deeply and durably changed relationships, interpersonal relationships, especially within family, but also within university. What is remembered is more a cultural change than a political change. And also, memory is divided in two types of collective memory. On one side, rebellion. We keep in mind the rebellion led by young people and student movements. But on the other side, one part of the collective memory retains the idea of a social movement that mobilized the workers and led to a general strike. And we can still observe today a strong divide between left and right in opinion on the impact of Mai 68 for French society. On this picture, you can see Daniel Cohn-Bendit, one of the most famous leaders of the student movement, and is still present on the French political scene and is currently part of the influential entourage of President Macron today. Is an iconic figure for the French, is constantly in the media and clearly contributes to keeping the memory of Mai 68 alive, even though he has become much more moderate politically compared to when he was a young man in full rebellion. So, as an example, you have some posters which reveal really the spirit, anti-authoritarian spirit of Mai 68. Very nice. It is forbidden to forbid, you know that. So let's turn now to the younger generations and to my specific topic, the dynamics of legacy and change through a process of intergenerational political socialization post-1968. Clearly, there is a new framework for politicization and a new framework for citizenship. And this new framework echoes the spirit of 68 and consequently contributes to shaping political attitudes and behaviors. Today, young people enter into politics in the context of huge mistrust towards politicians and politics. They enter to politics with the habit to abstain and the loss of the idea of voting as a duty. They enter into politics in a context of banalization and growing legitimacy of protest. And obviously, this general framework of politicization has an impact also when there are activist and protest movement. And type of protest and revolutionary style are still in force. As you can see, May 68 nights and Nuit debout, le jour à bout, la nuit debout. It's very difficult for me to translate, but maybe you can. I can say at the end of our tether during the day, staying up all the night, something like this. So, you know, they play also with the words exactly like in May 68. So a lot of similarities, you know, on this side, May 68, on this side, a poster of Nuit debout. Nos rêves ne rentrent pas dans vos urnes. Our dreams can't be contained in our polls. So, you know, it's really near the famous slogan of Mai 68, élection piège à con. So elections for the idiots, or something like this. Against power, here you have De Gaulle, General De Gaulle, and à nous de parler. We have to speak. It's our turn to talk. And on Nuit debout movement, oligarchy out. So a lot of parallels. And Nuit debout took place firstly in Paris, but also progressively all over the country. We won't go home. So the spirit of a strong desire of emancipation, a lot of connection between all these nights, which were organized during this time and this period all over towns, big cities and little towns. So Nuit debout, like the Indignados, Occupy Wall Street also, have in common a general contestation of society, rejection of capitalism, seeking alternative and experimental models. It's very important. Contesting hierarchy and oligarchy. And also all this movement question democracy itself and call for real democracy with more direct participation of ordinary citizens. For them, it's more than a political struggle. It's a call for a new way of life, and it's exactly also what was at stake in May 68. You can see, let's look at some slogan, famous slogan: beauty is in the street, power to imagination, pleasure with no restraint, make love not war, fight with us to be free, let's shut off the TV, let's open our eyes. And let's see now Nuit debout slogan, more or less the same. Our turn to talk, I don't want to earn my living, I already have my life. If you prevent us from dreaming, we will prevent you from sleeping. Oligarchy get lost, not obeying is the solution. General dream, etc., etc. And you have really the same spirit as you can see on this picture, and here on this last poster you see really affiliation between May and Nuit debout today. Mais ne faisons pas comme il leur plaît. It's very difficult to translate in English because it's a game. There is a dicton. Maybe French people here can help me, but there is a dicton in France who say "En mai, fais ce qu'il te plaît." Donc, mais ne faisons pas comme il leur plaît. But it's difficult. We will come back in the discussion maybe. Okay, and so same spirit. Same rhetoric, but contestation has changed of framework, and that's that important result of this observation. Because, first of all, because there is not any more strong ideology, and as you see, it was a picture from May 68. You see Mao, Lenin, Marx, Stalin, etc., etc. So all these ideologies today have vanished. And what is most relevant is maybe this move between a revolutionary spirit today to a radical populism. So, as a conclusion, I would say that Mai 68, sorry, is a constant source of inspiration. Obviously, it's still alive in the French collective memory, and also in the French political culture, and also in the engineering of social movements, as we have seen with Nuit debout. But contrary to Mai 68, all the political revolutionary ideologies have vanished. Marxism, communism, anarchism, Trotskyism, etc. And ideologies, these political ideologies tend to be replaced in France, as in a lot of European countries, by protest social populisms. Podemos in Spain, France Insoumise and Zadist in France, Syriza in Greece, etc., etc. And they express all these social populisms, express more protest, anti-elite and refusal attitudes than a real demand of political alternative. And that's a big change. So the spirit of Mai 68 is still useful for the activists and for people who protest, but the political content has vanished. Thank you so much.